Hello everybody, welcome to a video here. We're at a place where there used to be a racetrack, as you can tell. I decided in this off season it might be a good idea to go back into the history of racing in central Pennsylvania, like where I'm from, and talk about some of the places there used to be racetracks. I think it's a really cool subject. I've made some videos about it before, so we're going to do a little video series here over the winter and talk about some of these places. And what better place to start than Bowling Green Speedway? I am in Glen Rock right now. It's kind of near York area, and we're just gonna go check it out. Bowling Green Speedway began construction in 1952 by a man named Clyde Bolin off of a whim when he attempted to enter a stock car race at the nearby Lincoln Speedway and was turned away for the car not meeting proper specifications. After an argument with the promoter about him being in that race, he proclaimed that he would build his own track instead, and so he did. He went back to his family farm and began work on what became a half-mile, high-banked speedway. The first race at the newfound Bowling Green Speedway was in September of 1953. The track had space for vendors, parking, and seating for crowds that could reach as many as 8,000 people. This was a high-banked facility with 12 degrees on the straights and 27 degrees of banking in the corners. This made the racing exciting, but also worked for water drainage in the case of rain, and with a retention pond in the middle, also helped for gathering water for track preparation. Records say that up to 70 cars would show up to race on Saturday nights here. The track is referred to by many sources as a family-oriented facility, with kids getting in for free. People would bring lunches for the events and would be able to catch up with friends and family during the rendezvous. They hosted non-racing events, such as thrill shows and fireworks displays on holidays as well. The track had a good run of success with the big crowds, big fields, and plenty of action to carry it through the first two seasons. In 1955, more of the same was to come, but the track did push the envelope and started its season with a race on New Year's Day, which is pretty interesting considering what winter is like in Pennsylvania. As 1955 drew further on, however, issues started presenting themselves. One major problem from the beginning was the noise, which neighbors complained about. Bolin had offered free tickets to the races as repayment for this, but that offer only followed up for one race, the first race, and never again. The money also started running thin, and this was the main problem. Soon there were debt collectors at the gate. The track was missing money to pay its prizes for drivers, and it was not enough cash flow to keep everything in operation. The lack of prize money even led to a strike from drivers going and setting the grandstands on fire in protest. In 1956, with the lack of money being the cause, Bowling Green Speedway closed for good. The location went back to farmland purpose, bought by a neighbor who burned down some of the remains to make more space, and then a recent change in ownership has resulted in a little bit of terraforming, but some visual hints still remain amongst the trees and corn, peacefully silent. I am now walking where turn 4 would have been, and then this big hill here was where the front grandstand was, and people would set up, and then up above that, closer to the road, is where they would have had their stands for the vendors that brought a lot of people to this racetrack. And then now I'm more towards the front stretch. You can kind of see the grass and stuff is kind of following the shape of the track here, which is cool. But yeah, the big hill where it's really banked is where the grandstand and everything would have been. And you can see the banking here where the turn would have been. The backstretch has been leveled. I was told that used to be banked up more, but now it's not. So I'm kind of walking right now down the bottom of where the racetrack itself was, sort of towards the pit area that's now full of these trees that I assume were along the ridge of it. And we're going to walk down towards 1 and 2 and show you that too. So there's the front stretch. I'm now walking into the banking of the corners. They were 27-degree turns, so it was pretty banked. And right now I'm trying to stay in the middle. I can't really because of the brush. All right, so as you can see me all the way up here, I'm on the top of where the grandstands would have been, right here. I am looking out over the whole track. You are currently in turn 1. I tried to do this to show you how much of an incline there really is, because even though nothing physically is left, the banking and you can outline what you were looking at is at one time was a racetrack, just by seeing the banking and everything. So I'm all the way up here. Hello. So that's the tour, gang. Hope you enjoyed this video. There are more to come, so be sure to subscribe if you want to check out more of the abandoned racetracks in Pennsylvania, and give the video a like and share it around. Spread the word about these old racing facilities.